Shalom, shalom.
Amen.
Good to
Hal-
see everybody. And I can't see everybody because I'm sharing the screen, but we are recording this particular session just in case we are cut off or you are cut off from the Zoom meeting, and then we'll send you the link or you can request the link and listen again. Okay? So welcome to King's College Seminary, our winter graduation 2025. So this is coming up in about in a couple of in about 6 months or so. It's a momentous occasion marking the culmination of our comprehensive 5-year educational journey. So those of you who followed us on a previous season in the 1990s in a different revival, I think Vilma would know about that and was part of that actually, as well as Spider's wife, Lynn, and Raphael's wife, Merle. Those were the days when we were ministering together with Belinda at that time, also Marissa and some others in the very first wave of the Spirit. So that was in the 90s, and then we went into a different phase of building the churches and establishing the communities in the various locations. That's how we got to know quite a number in the Iloilo and Negros areas. Um, and so, well, that brings us right up into the 2000s as we shifted into Geylang. Some of you have been to our center in Geylang in Lorong 3, and some of you have participated. In fact, you were very much part of founding the Geylang Bless God movement, the GBG mission in Geylang to the prostituted sisters in the back lanes and brothel and street communities here in Geylang. And that went on for some time. And again, at the same time, the mission churches, all the missional churches and pastors were growing and developing, getting married, having children, and now the children are grown up and they're running their own show. So by the time we come up to 2017, the Lord drops into our heart modalities, and that begins a new pro-family rather than anti-vice position. It begins a pro-family movement and the development of a curriculum during COVID when we had time to write. And that took about 3 years, and now we're into our 5th year now. And well, I would say we're still discovering new things from the Word of the Lord, Word of God. But more or less, the backbone, the structure is strong enough, and so we have graduates who have completed an intensive and transformative program that seamlessly integrates rigorous theological studies with hands-on ministry preparation, fostering both academic excellence and practical wisdom. So those in the very first batch, together with Vilma and others, they went through a ministerial institute, Zion Ministerial Institute in Antipolo under Norman and Linda Holmes. We have started our own ministerial institute. We're calling it King's College Seminary. So instead of sending our graduates back, our Isaac students back to Manila to study, we train them in-house here in Singapore using our own proprietary curriculum. Okay, so today's session, we'll be looking at the institutional structure, which also speaks to our heritage that I have just shared, a very short summary of the last 30 years or so, but we'll have a little bit more focus on the three foundational offices. So we're looking at the president's office, that is my office, which provides strategic oversight for our expanding global programs and cultivates visionary directorial leadership. So we have directors, we have deans helping us. And then the second office is the Seminary Gate itself, which manages a comprehensive M1 to M3 academic programs with attention to scholarly depth and spiritual formation. So really that is at the junction or at the intersection of theology, family literacies, and human formation, what we call modalities. Okay, so that's the seminary gate. And then the third foundational office is that of the General Secretary's office, the GenSec office, which delivers essential administrative support that ensures seamless operations and student success. So that's basically what we'll be touching a little bit on the academic journey as well, just in very, very in a nutshell for those that are hearing me for the first time or you haven't heard me for a long time on Zoom since COVID, and you're just updating yourself. I'm also recording this so that everyone can have everyone around the table can really have a clear understanding of the different the moving parts, the different moving parts of this vision. And because it is a collaborative endeavor, so it's not just about academics, but we also have senior fellows that are trustees. We also have junior fellows that are coming up in the ranks among the Isaac students, some of whom are represented here today. Thank you very much for your attendance and your attention. And then, of course, we have from among the Isaac, we have some of our partners going back almost 20 years, almost 30 years. Helen, for example, Dugania was with us right from the very beginning when the Holy Spirit fell upon the church, and back in 1996, September of 1996. So this December, we're gathering at the prestigious Mountain View campus that I first visited in 1990, just before 1996. In fact, before 1996, we were looking at a ministry to the Thai construction workers. That was not turning out because of language issues. So in 94, 95, we visited Chiang Mai for the first time, and we met our current Dr. Prisha Jengjalan, our dean of graduate studies, and also my mentor, and so that I can understand the different processes behind academia. Okay, so that was the first time we went to Chang Puak Gate, and but it was not to be our last time, and more recently, in the past couple of years, we've connected with Dr. Prisha and Dr. Anjali and others, and just to discern the way forward for the seminary, what we're calling the seminary gate. Okay, so let me share my screen, and perhaps you can already see it. I'm not sure, but if you can see it, can you give me a thumbs up? Spider, can you give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen there that says site map at Seminary Gate? Okay, great. Okay, so this is the president's office. I think you can see that. I'll make it a little bit bigger, and I'm responsible for a couple of things. First of all, the directors and deans that I was telling you about. My own church, my own legacy, the ministry that I started back 33 years ago, it's called Oikos Singapore. And then also the same church that we registered in Philippines to cater for the returnee strategy. And we call that Oikos Associates Trust House, or Oath. And we registered that under the SEC in Ortigas. That was back in 2003 or so, or maybe 2001. Can't remember now. Anyway, the Philippine government knows about what we're doing here in Singapore, reaching out to the different types of Filipino overseas workers and the international students that we have. DAVT began upon the retirement of Pastor Mike, our chancellor. I think somewhere around 2017 as well, 2016 or 2017, when he came, him and Reverend Tess came to Singapore, and I shared with him the vision for um, non-Levitical ordination. And those of you who do not know what non-Levitical ordination is, I will try to explain that in a different video or a different unit study so that you can clearly understand. It's not ordination for Sunday morning service, okay? It's ordination Monday to Friday. What are we going to be doing during the weekdays as ministers? How can we use our time wisely? And then also, how can we bring ourselves up to scratch and bring the church with us together into the digital era? Okay, so we call this contextual education, not only what we teach and we learn and we activate on Sunday mornings, but also what we learn, we teach, and we activate on a Monday morning, Monday to Friday. We call this the non-Levitical realities. And as I say, I will go through with you in a different video or a different unit what is the particular definition of non-Levitical. Okay, and then of course, Global Expeditionary Awards, which is a youth development program together with global entrepreneurship. There's a red little arrow there because that's what we'll be embarking on beginning of May, and we invite everybody to join us in this journey. It is a journey of a year. It's a year's program, and for those in Malaysia and Singapore, you're invited to actually join us at our prayer center at our base in Geylang for that period of time from 1st of May until the 1st of May this year, Labor Day this year, 2025, until Labor Day next year, 2026. So there will be lots of activities, lots of training, and we're partnering with Dr. Shirley in Mount Austin in Malaysia, Universal Business Academy. We're applying different principles from different digital experts in the area of bringing the church into the digital era. And we're going to be looking at case studies of how we might be able to use these different instruments that are available, and many of them are freely available on the internet as long as you have Wi-Fi. So as long as you do have Wi-Fi, as long as you are moderately equipped in English, even if it's your second language. I noticed Sharon had created among the Isaac students, created a glossary for the survey. I'll be speaking a little bit about that and give you an opportunity to test drive some of these digital assets as well. And then the last thing that I'm doing also in the President's Office is a Stewards of Legacy program, which is extension program of what we had in Mighty Man camps, especially for the youth. Adventure outdoors, the great outdoors, and so on and so forth. Raphael will remember, Spider will remember our time together up in Mount Kanlaon and different locations where we brought the young people up onto the mountaintop, and of late we've been also experimenting with learning to do the open water, getting the open water certification. Also together with our Indonesian brethren in Denpasar. So Thea was with us, Noventi was with us, and also got a chance to meet up with some new trustees as well, Karen, from Asmara, where we're getting our graduation gowns, some of our graduation gowns from Bali, as well as to reconnect with family and friends in Bali. Okay, so we also locally have our board of governors and regents. I hope you can see this brown colored board there on the left-hand side. Can you see the brown colored? Can you give me a thumbs up if you can see the brown colored board there? Yes, there are two panels, one on the left, the governors, and one on the right, the regents. Okay, just stop me if anybody has any questions, or you can put it in the chat, and I can try to monitor the chat as well. Someone can help me to monitor the chat if anybody has any questions. So these governors and regents are basically our stakeholders. So we're not just looking for students, but we're also looking for students that fit a certain bill, a certain cut, a certain profile, that not only students of modalities, but also stakeholders for the future of Oikos, the future of GBG, and the future of King's College seminary. So we call this at the seminary gate. So you have, when we talk about contextual education, you're talking about both the church on the left hand and the seminary on the right hand. Okay, so coming together like praying hands. Okay, so we have both the practical as well as the academic coming together, the research wing. Okay, so you can put it that way. So most of these governors and regents are graduates themselves in different fields, and we look forward to partnering with them going forward into the next 10 years, the next 20 years. Okay, so once again, we welcome those of you who have just joined us into this Zoom call. I'm just giving a little recap of a short history of where we've come through in the last 33 years, longitudinal study from the beginning, from our genesis in 1992, all the way through the different phases, the Filipino revivals in the 1990s, through to the outbreak in the streets, in the back lanes and alleyways in Geylang, in Singapore, from roughly around 2005, 2006, all the way to around COVID period. And even before that, God began to transition us from an anti-vice position to a pro-family position, and then used COVID during the downtime for COVID, for us to write down the curriculum, which is a 5-year educational journey. So you can see that we have already a process in this chart. I hope you'll be able to see this chart. It's sorry, it's not that clear, but more or less you can see the graduating cohort preparation for this winter graduation 2025. Okay, so the good news is that all of our students that began with us will be graduating, and that we will have afterwards. I'll show you a little bit about the process of how we understand the process. But this is just in terms of a timeline from June, July, August, September, October, and then November, where we prepare ourselves in this final, last, and 5th year before we confer the degree of Masters of Arts in Theology to our first pioneer cohort, first 15. Okay, and that is represented by that red dot there in that chart there. And then, of course, how we begin the whole process is through what we call a discovery diagnostic. Okay, so we have again written out the curriculum based on the 7 modality, the 7 archetypes, or the biblical archetype paradigm, the paradigm of the 7 modalities. And that you can, if you want more information on that, if it's the first time you're hearing the word modalities, then just go to www.7modalities.com, and you can get more information or ask anybody who invited you to this call. So under the General Secretary's office, we are working with senior fellows of the university, and those are trustees of the vision. There's different types of trustees. I don't want to go into all the details. Trustees of strategic enrollment, for example, and so on and so forth. I don't want to go into that. And then there's a futuristic aspect to the General Secretary's office, which is working hand in hand with the dean's office to scope out specific areas in contextual education. There'll be a director of advancement, there'll be a director of galleries and libraries, a director of social currency, and then 3 additional deans, the dean of strategic enrollment, a dean of serving leadership, and the dean of contextual education. Okay, so for our provosts, these are all dads, and these are all dads that are connected with the fathering movement in Singapore, the Elijah 7000, as well as the 456, the prayer altar there. So you will have already recognized some of the names there: Paul Koo, Chan Vi, Jeff Chu, Ben Chan, and Jen Yong. Okay, so again, co-work spaces, geography of the co-work spaces. Digitally, Chiang Mai, Yangon, Johor, Denpasar, NCR, which is plus plus plus. It includes Baguio all the way down to Davao City, and then Cairns, where our chancellor is based, and then Uttarakhand in northern India is our only location at the moment in northern India, near the border of Nepal and so on and so forth, up near the Himalayas there. So Saran Singh, don't know if he's on the call today, but anyway, this is all being recorded, so it's good for you to see the big picture, especially for Pastor Miller. And we'll do this, maybe once a month or so. We'll have an opportunity to gather together, see the picture, and then some refinements and pray over these different aspects. Okay, if you do have any questions, please drop them in the United Prayer Messenger group. And if you would like to be added to that group, you can ask Rowena or Alma or Nazelle or any of the others that are helping us. So in the middle of this is right in the middle of this chart, you can see here, is our Isaac Team A and Team B. So we have 2 teams in our Isaac. Isaac is, for those of you who are hearing this for the first time, it stands for International Student Advisory Council, ISAC. But it also has a convenient tag to the story in the book of Genesis about the miracle child Isaac. And really, God has a plan for to use Oikos to reach out at the nation's gate. And that's the reason why we are presenting this so-called Key Pastors of Influence program, KPI. So we're really looking forward to connecting not only with the international students that are studying in Singapore at this time. So there's a cohort of about 16, 17, 18, something like that. So that's split into 2 teams. There's the older girls that will be trained for different skill sets, as well as for the newer ladies that are joining us. I've noticed that the newer ladies, they have a quite good educational qualification as well. So some of them are degree holders and so on and so forth. So it's quite a different story than when we first had this outreach back in 1996, 1997. Okay, any questions? Just either drop it in the messenger group, any of the messenger groups, and I'll get it, as well as You can also send me a chat question in the chat, and then I'll try to answer that. Okay? Or just unmute yourself a little bit later after we stop the recording. And then this section here at the bottom is showing a threefold division of how we have a group of ministers that are already ordained, or they are our seniors. They're part of our senior team, including Ria, Koagat, and Fevi, Reverend Fevi, and Reverend Pauline, and Reverend Jeanette, and the elder at the church in Kajang, Mimi Lee, and who I'm asking to form this executive mentorship program. This is to help everyone to attain to the standards that we are looking for in this master's program. Okay, so as far as our oath team, it's headed up by, of course, our president, which is Tess Witeska, who is the wife of our chancellor, Michael Witeska, Bishop Mike, but also assisted by Alma. So these are the students, part of the student leadership. Alma is leading together with Rowena, Nazelle, representative of NCR plus Baguio and plus plus. And then, of course, we have Saran from India, as I mentioned just now to you, North India. Thea from the temple city of Bali, or the template city of Bali, which is Denpasar. It's about 2.5 hours or 3 hours from Singapore. Chiang Mai is about 2.5 hours. Manila is about 3.5 hours from Singapore. So it's all within the area. It's only when you get to India that you're talking about like distances of about 6 hours from Singapore. Okay. And then Annie Faye, I think somewhere in Laguna. Noventi, also from Denpasar, Bali. Paz Kongkan is in eastern Visayas, together with her husband, Pastor Kongkan, and then Tracy and Suzette, also in the southern part of Manila. So that is the oath team, team A, if you like, that will be also helping Sister Lynn and myself in terms of training. So I'm going to give you this. Information sheet, and if you have any fine tuning, just let me know. And then finally, we have the later team oath, team B. And when I say oath, what I mean is that we have registered King's College in Philippines under the name Oikos Associates Trust House. Okay, so that is our original 2001, I think, or 2003 registration name under the SEC. And so we have a second cohort, and these cohorts, again, preparing themselves along the journey, the 5-year educational journey. Of course, those who have already degrees, those who have already diplomas, those who have experience, many of them will already have 10, 20, 30, some 40 years of experience in the ministry on the front lines, doing shepherding and apostolic work and evangelistic work, pastoral work, and so on and so forth, right? So we have a huge mix of different levels coming to us, but that's okay. And that is to be expected, because we are hoping to reach out into the rural areas, especially focusing on churches that perhaps may not have all the advantages of the big city mega churches. So this is my heart, and that we can extend our partnership, our hand in partnership, our right hand in partnership to all those that fall under that category. Okay, let me just flip on the light. I think it's getting a bit dark. All right. So um, this is basically a little bit of uh, uh, in a nutshell, just to give you an overview. I hope I was clear. If I'm not clear, if the signal is not so clear, then let's try to get this recording. I think we can switch off the recording at this time. And then we can move on to our prayer segment. And I'd like to invite different ones to pray and um, um, to cover us. We have representatives in